What's up? We are back with another lifting vlog. Today was upper B, and I actually recorded this yesterday. Didn't have a chance to get it out on time, but better late than never. So we got upper workout B here, hitting dumbbell bench here, followed by pull-ups, then dips, then T-bar rows. So I'm gonna let this footage play, and one thing I thought I would talk about this evening over this footage is this concept of chasing the optimal workout or obsessing over optimal exercises. That's something I see a lot of when I mess around on social media and stuff comes across my feed. I see a lot of people obsessed with making everything optimal, and I just thought I'd give my thoughts on it. So my training philosophy is focused on the basics and the time-tested, proven strength training principles. That namely being compound free weight movements are what to focus the vast majority of your time in the gym on. And then other things I'm not as knowledgeable or concerned about, quite frankly. So just one thing I've noticed about with myself personally is with obsessing over optimization, consistency will be optimization over the long term every single time. And by that I mean, if you are constantly switching your program or switching exercises and you're trying to eke out a 1 to 2% advantage trying to be optimal, you are not going to get nearly as far in the gym versus someone who does something not terribly, but if it's decently optimized, but they are just consistent with it over years and decades, they are going to beat someone who is constantly program hopping and flip-flopping exercises all the time trying to be optimal. And what I mean by that is, it's pretty safe to say that benching, dumbbell benching, push-ups, overhead pressing, barbell rowing, T-bar rowing, squats, front squats, deadlifts, pull-ups, dips, I forgot if I said that already. All these sorts of movements are what to focus on in the gym. And what might happen is some study might come out and it might be determined that some very hyper-specific, esoteric exercise was shown in a lab, an EMG study or whatever, that it lights up the lats 10% more than a pull-up. And so, okay, so you see that on social media and you immediately think, I need to put this in my routine or I'm not getting an optimal back workout. And even if that study is gospel and truth, that cannot be the end all be all of if you decide to include it in your program and focus on it. And let's break that down a little bit. So maybe pull-ups are not as optimal for your lats as some crazy cable machine exercise because of an EMG study. Okay, maybe that's true, but you have to ask yourself a couple questions. Number one, let's start with progression ability. The smaller a movement is, the less runway there is to progress it steadily over time. And by that I mean like squats, deadlifts, these big near full body movements can progress for years and decades without a true stall if you program intelligently. The smaller and more isolated you get with a movement or exercise, the harder it is to progress and the faster it's going to stall out. And by that I mean, not many people progress their lateral raises or dumbbell curls indefinitely over decades. Typically, they're going to kind of hit a wall, and I think that's just something you really need to factor in when you think about designing your program. You have to think like, is this a movement that I'm going to be able to add weight to consistently over the coming years and decades, or is it something that just given its nature is going to stall really quickly? And two things can be true at once. It can be true that it technically elicits a higher muscle activation response, but if you can't progress it, that doesn't really matter, because look at me doing these dips with 45 pounds, right? It's like there might be some chest, tricep, crazy exercise you can do that technically elicits more of a muscle response, but like, can you just add weight to a belt over the years and just progress? I just don't think optimization is as important. And I'll come back to this point of like, if you have a program that's 80% optimized, as if you could ever even measure something like that, but let's say you have a program that's 80% optimized. If you run that program for a decade, or just run programs that are 80% optimal for a decade, you're going to be light years ahead of somebody who is obsessed with getting everything perfectly optimized, but is constantly flip-flopping and just kind of straight up fucking around in the gym. Like, if you fuck around and jump from program to program, exercise to exercise all the time because you're trying to design this like perfect, zero flaws in it program, I'll just speak from personal experience. It's kind of just an excuse to not train really hard and get serious, because the reality is a lot of the training is just showing up and doing the reps and following the program, and it's not exciting. And you can get addicted to kind of starting fresh, right? Like, starting a new program is really fun because all the numbers climb really quickly and you're like, oh, this program's perfect and optimal and now everything's gonna click. And the reality is a couple months go by and it's life. You just settle into it, and that's when the work really starts. You have to just keep going. On like those dumbbell benches I was doing earlier, I'm adding like a rep or two per workout. I've been on those weights for like 2 months now, but I'm adding a rep every workout. Is it fun? Is it hard to be patient? Yes, but that's what it takes. And I'm going to turn around and soon I'll be able to do 4 sets of 10 with the 80-pound dumbbells. So anyway, appreciate you stopping in, and I will catch you in the next one.